All right, this is all about simplifying. So let's say you and I had 10 twelfths. We would say, hey, that simplifies. Both can be divided by 2. Divide him by 2, he becomes 5. Divide him by 2, he becomes 6. That's the exact same as 5, 6. We always want things simplified. If we look at this, we have, there's a 2 times 3 times 5. Well, that's 30 up top and the bottom 70, but we've broken it down into what multiplies. And we're like, okay. So that 2 and that 2 can go away because really 2 divided by 2 is 1. And then this 5 and that 5 could go away because 5 divided by 5 is really 1. And we're left with just an answer of 3/7. What about here? We have a 2 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, and at the bottom we have a bunch of 3s. Well, you and I know 3 divided by 3, 1, 1, 1, 1, and that's just the same as 2/3. Now, you will notice that this, sort of crazy there, these 3s, I just rewrote as A's over here. So notice you have a 2 times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3, 2 times A. All 3's in the bottom, all A's, because A's are the same number. In this case right here, they were all 3's. If they were all A's, we would do the same thing because they're the same number, same number, same number, same number, and so it simplifies to be 2 over A. So this is just simplifying, okay? Whether there's variables or numbers involved, we're just breaking it down to make it simpler. Now, let's look at the next. What if we had this? How would we tackle this problem? Well, x to the 111th, you know you have 111 of these, over 105 of these, right? Well, we're not going to write everything out. We know there would be a lot of canceling going on. But if you have 111 up top and 105 in the bottom, you should be able to see that you're going to cancel up top. 105 are going to go away with the bottom 105, and you'd be left with how many extra here? 6. So up top, this answer is just x is 6 over 1. So it's just x to the 6th. And yes, we do. Sometimes your teachers teach you to subtract, but I want you to think and realize and picture what is exactly happening here. So consider this. What if I had 5 times A over 5 times A times, in parentheses, Cecil plus Hickam? Now, we would say, hey, this 5 and that 5, because you're really multiplying 3 things in the bottom, a 5 and A, and this whole Cecil plus Hickam. So that 5 and that 5 would cancel out and become 1s. That A and that A would cancel out. And you would simply be left with A over Cecil plus Hickam. That's what you'd be left with. And so that's what we have. Now, that will go to this. Let's simplify using the same idea. We have 6x squared over 9x a third plus 18x squared. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this bottom and factor out a 9, because 9 and 18 both have a 9 that can be divided. X cubed, x squared, I have an x squared can be factored out. It's going to leave me behind with an x plus 2. Up top, I have a 6x squared. Now, this is a 9x squared times this. Our 6 and 9, that would become a 2, and he would become a 3. X squared and x squared are going to go away. You're simply left with a 2 up top, a 3 times the x plus 2 in the bottom. Consider this. What if you have n plus 5 over n plus 5 times n minus 2? Now, this is just 2 pieces being multiplied. So this number, if n is 1, you have 6 and 6. If n is 2, you have 7 and 7. Either way, that and that are the same thing. I'm going to cross out. And you're going to be left with 1 over n minus 2. Now, using that thought, let's simplify this. We have n plus 3 over n squared plus 7n plus 12. Well, up top I have n plus 3. This bottom doesn't have an n plus 3, or does it? Because if we factor this, we'll notice it's an n plus 3 times an n plus 4, all over an n plus 3. This number and this number are the same, and then it's just that times that number. So these cross out. So I'm left with 1 over n plus 4. And then we have n squared minus 5n plus 6. We could factor the top. The top is going to factor, I can see that's an n minus 2, n minus 3. The bottom would factor, well, 7 and 4 there. I'm going to have an n plus 7, n minus 3. Cancel, cancel. There's your answer, n minus 2 over n plus 7. All we have to do is break each piece down and then cross out things that are on the top and the bottom that are the exact same.